Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and to my backyard. We are on our Simple Abundance path this year with Sarah Ban Beathnach and her book Simple Abundance, and I decided I would come out with my Olaf blanket and pillow today and have a couple hours in the backyard like Sarah suggested yesterday in her entry. And I didn't read from the book yesterday, so I don't remember saying this thing that she said to her daughter when her daughter came out to find out what she was doing in the backyard. She said she was doing an experiment and letting Mother Nature nurture. So in the old book, today's entry is called Letting Mother Nature Nurture, and I think that's great. That's been eliminated from the new book as far as I can tell, because today's topic is different. But I just wanted to give a nod to what Sarah says. Today you may not be able to spend a day completely outdoors, but you can soothe away stress by letting Mother Nature nurture. Take off your shoes, feel the earth beneath your feet, bend over a blossom, and breathe in the fragrance. Lie under a tree and look up at the sky through the branches. Give it a few moments. How do you feel? Mother really does know best. I liked that. Today's entry in the new book, it is August 6th, and it is called The Courage to Be Happy. It's a doozy. And it's a long one too. This is a new one, like I said, in the new book. And Sarah talks to us about bliss. What do you think of when you think of bliss? I think of passion, and I mostly think of romance, I think, but bliss can be any sort of sense, right? Could be eating, could be seeing. And you've probably heard of Joseph Campbell. He is the one who made the phrase "follow your bliss" famous. And you know, there's t-shirts and mugs and everything with that. So what do you think about following your bliss? I think Sarah's been telling us about following our bliss all year. We talked all about the senses, and we've been trying to sprinkle in fun things and quiet time and creative pursuits. So actually following her advice, like if you're really enjoying a hobby, that could be following your bliss, right? It's really probably anything that just makes you feel alive and heightened with the senses. She says, like making love, the pursuit of happiness and the rapture of bliss involve intermingling the senses. And she does tell us in another part of the entry that we all have the same senses, but we all have different reactions to things, right? Like our taste buds may be different. We certainly have different tastes in music, and somebody might see a beautiful thing in nature and not find the bliss in it that someone else would. So it's very private, she says, very private, peculiar, and deeply personal. I like what she says here too about how she believes that bliss is I have to read it, a spiritual salve that soothes our souls when our bodies are ravaged, our minds are at a breaking point from the onslaught of breaking news, and we have no bandwidth to cope. And she says, it's been my experience that bliss isn't just a band-aid, but it's a divine rescue remedy. What do you think about that? That really got me. Because I was thinking maybe the gratitude exercise is more of a band-aid. It's kind of like keeping us together. And maybe scheduling your life around yourself. That's a pretty big undertaking for some if you haven't been living that way. But some of those things are a band-aid. They're just sort of keeping us together. But I like how she says that bliss is the divine rescue remedy. And you know what? You could have moments of bliss at any time. She did actually say I skipped over it. Thankfully, Bliss doesn't discriminate against those who decide they must stay with a job they dislike or a relationship going through a rough patch. So yeah, you could still have bliss amongst crap. It's not like, I mean, because there are moments of bliss, right? And if you think about following your bliss, I was talking so much recently about the GPS and feeling like the way and feeling what feels right and sort of like following spirit and the whispers of your soul. So that all goes hand in hand with this. She says, watching the sunset, walking barefoot on the sand, eating a juicy plum, showering outdoors, having an entire day to call your own, or waking up 8 hours after uninterrupted sleep, I'm sure that puts a smile on your face as it does mine, she says. Please notice these blissful triggers don't require anyone else's presence, nor do they cost money, which is also true. I mean, I think about, well, you might have had to buy the plum or pay for the water, but I know what she's saying. You have your senses. They don't cost you anything. Oh, then she goes on to say, how happy are you now, right now? And I was thinking when I read that, that reminds me of the video from back in January where that was the topic. How happy are you? And here we are 7 months later, and she even says, the last time I asked you this provocative question was 7 months ago. So here we are again with that. And she asks how we're doing. Are we making progress? How's our year going? I think, well, I've had an up and down year, obviously, as I've shared with you guys, but somehow amongst a lot of difficult things this year, I think overall, in this moment, I am happier than I was back in January. I've gotten through some of the things that I knew were going to be difficult. I have a lot more to come, and I'm definitely not happy with a lot of things in my life still, but on a day-to-day basis, for the most part, I have my bad times. I am happier than January. I'm still not as happy as I want to be, but that's just where I'm at. Observe for the next few days, Sarah says. Record fleeting moments of happiness or blissful interludes in your gratitude journal. Be courageous. Ask yourself, what is it I truly need to make me happy? And remember, only you know the answer. We did ask ourselves that earlier in the year. I think my answers would be very similar. In fact, my brother, I don't talk to him regularly, but he did reach out to me in the last month, and he asked me how I was doing, and I was very honest and laid it out there. Things are pretty bad. And he said, I'm sorry to hear that. And he said, is there anything you need? And I was like, that's a loaded question. And I wrote him back, actually. I listed out about 6 things. But all of those 6 things are out of my control. And one of them was for the pandemic to end. And, that may be a year from now. So I know what I need. I think it's harder when I don't know what's harder. What if you know what you need and you could actually do something, but you're not doing it? That's probably equally as hard as knowing what you need, but not being able to make it happen somehow. Well, I don't know. I guess that is the same. Either way, you're stuck in an unhappy place. What if you followed your bliss? I don't know. I'm going to have to think about that. It's something I go back and forth on because I want to believe that if you follow your bliss, that maybe you're going to end up you know, all the way to the loony bin. I don't know, like, because you're gonna be totally disconnected from reality. But I like living in fantasy land. I don't know, so I go back and forth about it. I've had times in my life where everything's been going my way, and in those moments I would absolutely say, like, yes, I followed my bliss, and that's why I'm here. But then I guess when you're not following your bliss, you have to, or at least my belief is I have to, like, I can only blame myself. I don't know, I could go on and on. Let's just end it there. But we have another entry tomorrow about bliss, and it's called Bliss Blockers. So we'll talk about probably some of these things that I just said and why maybe you're not following your bliss, or things that are squashing bliss from happening. I challenge you, though, to keep track and actually ask yourself what it is that you need to be happy. And even if it's a list like I made for my brother that he probably thought I was joking, but I was totally serious. You know what you need. And you know what your bliss is, too. So I hope you start taking stock of those moments and trying to add more bliss in. Or even just realizing what bliss is there already. Thanks for listening. I'm going to go back to my resting with Olaf. If you know me, you know I love Disney, and Frozen's one of my favorite Disney movies. And Olaf sings a song about summer. He really wants to be in summer. He doesn't know he's going to melt in summer. So he's getting to lay out here with me on the blanket and the pillowcase. Alright, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Enjoy this beautiful day. I hope it's beautiful where you are. It really is here. Alright, lots of love. Bye-bye.